Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name's Almic, and first of all I'd like to thank you for lending me your ears as I talk and give some basic information about Nomad, a character released on the 10th of February in 2009. Nomad was a young Zamarakian who lived in a place known as the Ghost Town, or as we know it today as Edgeville. His parents were tragically killed by temple guards who were investigating them. This incident is what set Nomad on a grand journey of betrayal, lust for power, and in the end, his ultimate downfall. Shortly after this, Nomad moved to the city of Varrock in search of a new life. He tried his hands at thievery, but wasn't very good at it, causing him to get beatings from rivals and whatnot. Whilst in Varrock, Nomad found his first mentor, Oreb, or as we know him, the Magister. Under Oreb's training, Nomad was taken to the Orena caves to study the workings of the ZMI altar. This greatly fascinated Nomad. He soon took a keen interest in the essence of the runes and how they worked. After this, Nomad had felt that he'd learnt all he could from Oreb and killed him. This was the beginning of his descent into madness. Nomad felt he was so powerful, yet one enemy he still feared was death. This fear caused Nomad to go in search of necromancy techniques. Nomad's search of immortality led him to Lumbridge, to a decrepit necromancer known as Dageth Nirn. Nomad sought his knowledge, but he was bluntly refused. Nirn would never forgo his secrets. He left him, realizing that Nirn was a husk of his former self. So in the end, Nomad wasn't too bothered by this and continued on his search. Books and tomes were of no use to Nomad. He sought a greater knowledge that any mortal could give him. Nomad learnt of a ritual to summon an imp, hoping he could learn of the occult. The imp he summoned was called Zimmerfizz, and he bound it to himself. Zimmerfizz disliked this greatly, and he tried to lure Nomad to the Kalgor demons in hope of a quick end for him. Nomad used this opportunity to learn from the warmongers after being beaten and broken. After this, he returned to Varrock under the disguise of a mercenary. Soon after his return to Varrock, he learnt of a great mage known as Lucien, a mystic being from another land. Nomad decided to take Lucien on as a rival, as this was the fastest approach to get his attention. He used the sacking of Varrock in 154 to prove his power to Lucien, and they shortly teamed up. They benefited one another greatly from this. But in the end, much like Nomad's other former teachers, he had learnt nothing of use. Nomad left Lucien in order to search once again for a new mentor. After years of searching, he found a necromage called Ephraim, who had become Nomad's third master. Ephraim lived in ancient ruins left over from the God Wars. Finally, Nomad had learnt something around the subject of souls. Ephraim's theory was the mortal soul was a source of boundless potential, curtailed by only their brief lives. Given greater longevity, they might outstrip the gods, who forego the luxury of a soul. With this knowledge, Nomad killed his master again, as he believed that battle was what makes the soul grow in strength. He used Ephraim's base to hold his newly created soul obelisk, which we now know as the Soul Wars minigame. When one dies within the game, their soul is transferred into a throne, which houses souls for Nomad to absorb at a later date when he chooses. The siphoning of souls made Nomad extremely powerful, and soon tales of his strength leaked to his former mentor Lucien. Lucien soon sent assassins after Nomad, but Nomad bested them with ease. Zimmerfizz grew worried about Nomad's power and lust. He sought out an adventurer to help him aid on a quest, which would lead to Nomad's downfall. This quest takes place in 169 and is known as Nomad's Requiem. After a tough fight, we defeat Nomad and leave. We fail to notice that he teleports away. On a side note, Lucien is soon killed after this by the Dragon King. A long time passes after this. Shortly after Guthix dies, Nomad watches as all the gods return to Gielinor. He witnesses how they lust after the divine energy, and he also studies it. After a while of training and learning to harness the energy, Nomad is tracked down by Death, who states, "I have been looking for you for a long time." While these events are happening, we are called on a quest known as Dishonor Among Thieves. This is for Zamorak, who has tasked us to search for Nomad to aid us steal the Stone of Jazz. We managed to convince Death to let us use Nomad. By the end of this quest, Nomad has once again proven himself to be mad, betraying us and trying to steal the Stone of Jazz for himself. But Zamrock appears and thwarts this. He puts Nomad to the ground. This causes Nomad to teleport away once again to safety. The next time we hear or see of Nomad is in a quest known as Nomad's Elegy. Nomad wants to create a god with the help of the members of the Orders of Ascension. We once again defeat Nomad and beat Gilnor the god, and thwart his plans of greatness. Sadly, at the end of this, Sliske, the orchestrator of the new God Wars games, takes him to an unknown location and converts him into a wight. Nomad's essence lingers at Iclaran's castle, where we can choose to fight him again if we wish. He is much harder in this fight. The last time we see Nomad is in Sliske's endgame. He is counted as a god point when we defeat him in battle. This truly shows just how powerful Nomad is. At the end of the quest, he is there once again, along with Gregorovich and Lizna. Once we defeat them, Lizna is freed and Gregovic returns to God War dungeons. It is unknown what happens to Nomad after this, or where he resides. Nomad was a powerful being addicted to souls. He used them to sate his fixation of immortality. A character with a haunting life story that chose to seek power to make himself feel fulfilled with his existence, letting no one stand in his way. His presence in Runescape struck fear into the hearts of new adventurers, and I'm sure this won't be the last we hear of the legend that is Nomad.